So just let me share my screen. Okay, can somebody confirm whether my screen is visible or not? Mm, is it visible? Can you make it accessible? I guess it is ideally accessible. Okay, my bad. Just give me access. Okay, now you should be able to get the access to this specific sheet. So before I begin with the main project, which is the newsletter automation for this session, I wanted to give you a brief about what exactly an AI agent is, what is an agentic AI, and what is an AI automation, because there are multiple terms which has been used interchangeably, but I want you to uh, give you a understanding about the differences between all these things, because I feel most of you are new joiners. So I'll give you brief about all the. So I've built a lot of AI agents and a lot of AI automations. So I can just explain everything with the automations that I have built. So the core difference is, like in this case, this is not an AI agent, it is an AI automation where it follows a specific workflow, but it do not uses its brain. For example, I'll try to explain. So it is a scraper which I made for automating one of the processes, which I feel to be very boring. So this tool basically scrapes all the comments from a LinkedIn post, and it creates a sheet, and it contains all the necessary email of that specific LinkedIn post that I used to send via chat. So this is an AI automation where we don't have any brain. So I'll try to give an example um, of a use case, like, and I'll try to explain everything in regards to what is an AI agent, what is an agentic AI workflow, and what is an AI agent. So, for example, let's say you are working on a social media marketing, and for that social media marketing, you have an Excel sheet, and in that Excel sheet, you have a lot of things like you have the post dates, you have a content calendar where you have the creatives, you have the necessary caption which is to be shared. Then you also have something called as the date, the status, whether this has been posted or not. And let's say if any of you is doing that manually, then it is you're not using your brain. You are just following a workflow that I need to download the creative from this specific link. Once you have that specific link, once you download that file, you post it on a specific on the social media platform along with the caption which is there. So this is an AI automation, not an AI agent, because there is no brain involved. But what if I tell you that, hey, uh, you don't you only have the creatives, but you need to draft a caption on your own, you need to use your brain. So in that case scenario, we can use something called as an AI agent, where we have a brain. So in this session, I'll try to explain everything from the very scratch. What is a trigger, what is an AI, or what is an AI agent, what are the different components of an AI agent. So I hope you have already logged into this platform. I just wanted to make sure, like, have you guys logged into the platform that I had mentioned previously, the N10? You guys can give me a thumbs up if you have already logged into that platform. In case you haven't, it would hardly take 30 seconds or 1 minute. You can do that right now. Is it free? It is free for 14 days. But the best, okay, I'll give you more. I explain more about it. So there are 3 to 4 tools which are widely used for building these agents: LangChain, N8n, Make.com, and Zapier. Now, Zapier and Make.com, these are some of the paid tools. But N8n is something which is free for 14 days, and after 14 days, you need to buy their subscription, or maybe you can create a new account. But the best thing about this N8n is that it is an open source tool. So I have hosted it locally on my PC. So if you take a look at my URL, so it is localhost 567. So it is locally hosted on my PC. So the entire maintenance cost is up to my PC. And and I can use this for unlimited times. There is no limit as such. So I have hosted locally on my PC, but there are certain um, limitations to this local hosting that I can't use webhook trigger. I can't use some of the forms, which is there by N8N only. So these are some of the drawbacks. Since in this session, I also want you to work on something called as a front end, where I'll give you brief as well. For example, this is the front end. So the moment you write it any topic like fundamental analysis, and if you click on generate, so you will get a you'll get the uh, newsletter on your specific Gmail IDs. So at the moment, I want you to do this as well in the session. For that reasons, I have instructed you to use the cloud version of this specific tool. Since we have understand about the AI agents and the AI automations, I will try to explain about something very, very important. Now we can get started with the main project that we are building today. So once you logged into the platform, so you can also change the name as well. So for example, let's name it as AI agent newsletter. So the very first step, so this is going to be the screen that you will be seeing for the very first time. So the very first step that you will be doing is to click on the add first step. And the first step is always going to be a trigger. So trigger basically means when you build the entire workflow, like I have built this. So when exactly this needs to be executed depends upon the trigger. Like the moment I click on this chat button, in this on this specific button, then this entire workflow that we'll be building will be executed. Or maybe we can add something called as the a schedule trigger. So every single time at a specific time, uh, this entire workflow will be executed. For example, you might have received a happy birthday message from some of the e-commerce website, I guess Zepto, or I do not remember exactly which company that it does. So they have used a schedule trigger. Like every day at 12 a.m., every day at midnight, they will this entire workflow will be executed, and then they will fetch the details of the user and find out the ones who have their birthdays, and then they will wish them birthday. So it is a schedule trigger. Or if I have to explain more about the trigger, so you might have used unstop. So the moment you register on unstop, you receive a mail like, hey, your registration has been confirmed. So when that mail to be sent depends on a trigger, like the moment you have registered for that opportunity. So it is a schedule trigger. So it is a trigger. Likewise, in our case, since we are working on a newsletter automation, let's say we can have an uh, maybe every day at 10 a.m. I want this to be executed. Not every day, let's say every 2 days, I want this to be executed at 10 a.m. So this is the very first step that you will be building. So likewise, in case you guys are following along, you can just open your mic and speak up in case you're stuck at any point, or maybe if you have any doubt, because it is the very first step, and I want you to I want to build the foundation so that you guys can build this project end to end. Uh, can I move forward? Maybe you guys can give me a thumbs up. Okay, okay, cool. I guess we can move forward. Okay, so this is the very first step. Now the second thing that now I want you to go to this
So,
specific yep. Hello. Okay. Now the second thing, I'll explain you about the workflow, what I'll be doing. So this is the doc that I have shared with you all. You are supposed to go to this specific sheet, click on file and create a copy of this. So since I'm not going to create that. So um, what this specific sheet has, so it has the topics on which I need the newsletters. Similarly, you can add your specific topics, like I need to send a newsletter on these specific topics. So you guys can mention your specific topics. And then there is a status whether it has been sent or not. Next, we have a sheet two. In sheet two, we have the data sets like this is the serial number, name, and the email to which we need to shoot the newsletters. So for this session, let me add my.
What is this, Uncle?
So let me just add my this for the testing purpose only. Yes, I heard someone speaking up. Can you please share this doc? I guess I've already shared this in the group, in the chat box. I'm sharing it again over here. So you need to go to this specific Google Sheet. Yes,
Excuse me.
yes, yep.
Actually, I had a doubt. So here we are making the worker agent, right? So this is the worker agent.
No, so we'll be adding one more AI agent who will be drafting the entire content. Firstly, we are deciding the topics on which we need the newsletter to be sent. So there will be two approaches. Number one, we will be having a sheet where we will be having the that only the topics, and then we will be also building something called this where we can give it a topic and then a newsletter will be sent to the users. So we'll be use be working on both the models. So we'll be working on the two different triggers in this session. So in this entire the sheet is just the topic, and this AI agent that we'll be building will be drafting the entire content which is to be sent. Yes, Sanvi. I guess we can move forward. Just let me know in case you have any doubt. Okay. So I hope you have created a copy of this specific sheet where we have the topic names, we have the status, and then another sheet where we'll be having the data sets to whom we need to shoot the emails. Now the second, since we have created this Google Sheet, the second thing that we'll be doing is to add this specific Google Sheet. So you need to click on this add button and search for sheets. And in this, we have multiple functions. So operations. So we'll be using the get rows in the sheet because there we already have the rows in this sheet where we have the topics. So we'll be using get rows and add your credentials. So you guys you need to click on add credentials, create new credentials and use your email ID which you're using. So I have already used my email ID at the moment. So you guys can select your credentials as well. Just give me a second. I guess it was a different account. Okay. Now this N10 has access to my Google Sheets. So I have recently created this newsletter automation. And then I need the sheet one where I have all the topics. Then we need to click on the execute step. Now we will get the relevant. So we got the serial number, we got the topics. The moment we click on the execute button. So just just to submit up whatever we have built so far. So we have added a schedule trigger, which will basically execute the entire workflow. Then we have added a Google Sheet from where we will be fetching the topics from Google Sheets. So this is the first step. I hope this much is pretty clear to everyone. In case you guys are stuck at any point, just let me know. Cool. Now the next step that we are going to do, we need to add a AI agent. AI agent. Now this is the most important part where I need most of your attention. So this is the AI agent. Now an AI agent have basically three different parts, like a chat model, a memory, and a tool. And we can also have use a output format and a fallback model. So these are this might sound very technical, but it is very simple. I'll be just explaining all this in detail for sure. So an AI agent. So as let's move back to the example that I had explained previously about the social media where where you were supposed to draft an caption for a post. Now the point is that here, let's say if you're using an AI agent which drafts a caption, so it requires a brain. So a chat model is just a brain which will do that for us. So we can use, so we have um, DeepSeek, we have Google Gemini, we have Grok, we have Llama, we have OpenRouter, and a lot of AI LLMs tools which is there on the internet. So for this specific session, I am using Gemini. Now, once you click on Gemini, or maybe in case you don't have Gemini, then you can use something called as the Grok. So in this specific sheet only, if you move down, yep. So you guys can use Google Gemini and Grok. So you guys can get a Google Gemini API from this specific link. So what an API is, an API basically helps the two different platforms to connect and talk to each other. So for example, I already have you need to click on the create API key, name it something, and you'll get a API key. So I've already created one API key. So I'll be using that only for this specific, I was not supposed to. Okay. For this session, we'll be using this specific API key only. Just let me copy. Click on create new credentials, add your API key and click on save. Now what happened? Whatever input that will be given to this AI agent, it will be using Google Gemini in order to get the output. So maybe in case you don't have Google Gemini Pro, you guys can use Grok, which is there in this specific. I have also attached the link to the same. Just let me log into this platform. So it is again an open source tool which you can use for the memory for the chat model. So I already have. Let's me create a new API key session. And I got an API key. So in case you don't have any Google Gemini access, then you guys can use Google Grok. So you need to just add credentials, add the API key, click on save, and we got the connection. So in this specific Grok model as well, there is one more thing. So Llama is being monetized by them. So you guys can use Gwen or I guess DeepSeek or OpenAI GPT. So some of the tools are, some of the models out there are free, some are paid. So you guys can play around the different models which has been provided by Grok. So for example, for the time being, I'm using DeepSeek. Now, if I try to explain, there are multiple component of this specific AI agent node. So there is a specific output. The moment we click on require specific output format, we get an output parser. which is there. And then we have a fallback model. So what happens? Let's say if Google Gemini, due to some reasons, do not respond, or maybe we are out of tokens. So in that case scenario, it will be using Grok in case Google Gemini isn't working at that time. So that's a fallback a model. Then we have a require specific output format. So let's say if we are working on this specific AI newsletter. So a newsletter will have a different components in the output. Like we need a subject line, we need a title for the newsletter, we need three different headings along with supporting points. So there are multiple output parsers. So we need to click on the structured output parser. So it basically gives us the result in the format that we need. So whenever you draft an answer, so in that case scenario, you start with an introduction, then you then you have a body, then you have a conclusion part. So an output parser helps you give the result in the best possible way. So we use output parser for the same. And memory is just a simple memory. Like whenever you chat with GPT or whenever you use Gemini, so it remembers the previous conversation that you had with the Gemini. Like it remembers, okay, so Vipin has given this prompt in the previous prompt, and then it has given these prompts in the subsequent prompts. So it stores that specific memory. So a GPT, whether you're using GPT or any other tool, it can only give you the best possible result if it has the best context to your specific problem or whatever the chat thread is. So for that, we have RAG agents. So RAG is something that we might be covering in the next or maybe some other sessions, RAG agents. For the timing, we have added a simple memory. Then there is tool. So let's move back to that social media example only, which I discussed. So let's say you are supposed you have nothing, but you just have a topic that you need to create a post around this specific topic. So it will have different components. Like you need a picture for that specific post. So you will be using a different agent for creating a picture. For scripting purpose, you need a different agent. So by adding a tool, you guys can use a different AI agents along with this specific agent. Apart from this, you guys can also use sheets. Like sometimes what happens, if I have to give you a real use case that I have used. So for example, when we are working on a customer support agent, so when I was once working on a customer support agent, so it gets a memory, it gets chat from the user that, hey, I have not yet received my order. So it requires certain um, context, certain tools by which it can give certain responses. Like we can add sheets as well. So, and that specific sheet contains all the relevant data of the users who have purchased our platform. So we can use this tool for that specific purpose. So that's all about the AI agent specific node. And I have tried to explain all the possible components in the best possible way. In case you guys have any doubts, just let me know. I'll definitely take that up. Can I help connecting Gemini? Okay, sure. Yep, sure. So I've attached the link for the Gemini one. So maybe in case you have the Google, I mean Gemini Pro, then you'll be redirected to this specific screen. You need to click on get API key. Click on create new API key. You can name it as and you can create any project and click on create key. And now we have an API key. Now you can copy this as specific API key. I hope this is and paste it over anytime. I hope that works. In case you're still stuck, just let me know. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, now we can move forward with the next part. Yep. Anyone else? Okay. Now, what we will be doing, I guess I have pretty much explained the different aspects of this. So now I'll try to set up things for our automation. So first of all, once you click on the AI agent, so this will be the prompt user message by default. So you need to click on this specific add options and click on system message. Now, basically system prompt is something which is very constant about all the prompts, which has something which is very, very common. For example, when we're working on a customer support agent, so we give it a prompt like you need to be a friendly, you can't use curse word, you should be you should have a helping nature and so on and so forth. So it is a system prompt. Similarly, for our case, we will be using a system prompt. So this is the system prompt which is there. Okay. So we will be just copying this specific user prompt, system prompt, and let's just paste it over here. And for the topic specific, so we need to click on define below, and this is the topic. Okay. Now I want to replace the dynamic variable. So like you need to drag. So this is the input, this is the output, and this is the configuration node. So we can basically drag the input from the previous node and drop it over here, which will act as an input in this specific node. So the moment I click on execute step, I won't get any result at the moment because I have not yet configured the memory and the structured output. So if I click on this specific simple memory, I need to again define. So what exactly I need this agent to memorize. So we can even create this without this simple memory. But I just wanted to explain about why do we use the simple memory in some of the agents. For that reason, I'm adding it. But there is no as such use case for this specific agent. We can even remove that. There is no use case as such. So I'll try to, but for the moment, I wanted to explain how the output differs the moment we have a output parser and the moment we don't have an output parser. So let's click on execute step. Oh, okay. There is one more problem. So there is like all the seven topics out there, and it is writing newsletter for all the seven topics, but I want it to execute only once. So you guys can go to setting and click on execute once so that it is writing the newsletter for only one specific topic that we have mentioned. Okay, so we got the result, but since we need certain title, we need a description for that specific title. Now the output that we have got is very cluttered and we won't be able to use the way that we wanted to. So for that reason, I have also attached an output parser like in this only. Yes. So I want a subject line. I need a heading. I need a subheading. I need a main title. I need a sub points. In the sub points, even I need a title description, and a closing remark. So using this specific output parser, I'll get the results in the best possible way. So let's go to this and paste it over here and connect it with the output parser. Now, the moment we click on execute step, the result that we will be getting will be in the format that we need. Okay, so we got a heading, we got a subject line, we got heading, we got a subheading, we got subpoints along with a description, a closing remark, and a signature that we wanted. So I hope this much is pretty clear to everyone. In case you guys have any doubts, or maybe in case you are stuck at any point, just let me know. Um, okay, shall I move forward? Okay, sure. Now we have an output. Now, what we will be doing, we will be adding a set node. A set node is nothing but it just gives us the data in the better format. So we can use this in order to get the headings and all the relevant data in a better format. So because we don't need all the um, sections from the input. So in order to filter it out, we are just using this. So you need to just drag and drop. We can ignore the signature. Maybe let's keep the signature as well and click on execute step. So we have used an set node to get the output in the best possible way in a clean format. So we have multiple subpoints in the previous nodes. So we are just using a set node in order to get the data in a clean format. So we can go ahead even without this, but we wanted to keep it very clean. For that reason, we are using this. Now, the next step, so we have the content. We also have the necessary contacts, which is there in our sheet. So we will be adding a sheet again in order to get the data sets. So we'll click on get rows in a sheet, newsletter automation, then sheet two because we have our data sets in sheet two. So you can add all the necessary relevant emails to whom you wanted to send emails. So let me add one more name. Okay, so we have like two different outputs. So I'll try to execute again. So you guys can see that it is also updating the moment I have updated the sheet over there. So we got the list as well. Now the next step is to add a loop over list. Uh, we can even send emails to all the individuals at once. But in order to avoid the spamming issue, we are using this loop over list. So we'll be sending, let's say there are certain cases where we have a lot of contacts. So we'll be sending 15 folks and then we will be sending, we'll be waiting for some time and then we'll be sending the mails to the rest of the folks. So this replace me is basically where we need to replace. So basically we'll get the list in this specific section loop branch. Okay. So we got only one data since we have only one. We have written only one in case if I have given it like a two, then we would have got two results. So we need to replace this. So we'll be replacing this with Gmail. So you need to click on Gmail. And the function would be send an email. Click on add credentials, and the way you added the credentials for the Google Sheets, similarly, you need to add the credentials for Gmail for sending emails. Okay. Now it has access to my Gmail as well, and it will be sending email via this specific link. So to whom I need to send the email will be extracted from this specific node. The message will be extracted from this specific node, like maybe we can draft a message, hey, then we will be given a name like hey, whatever the name of that person is. Then the newsletter, uh, uh, a brief on topic, is finally out. And then all the relevant pointers like sub point one, no, not coming here. Um, okay, but here only. We can add the relevant sub point one, sub point zero, sub point two. Closing remark, and then attach this is specific to this. So basically, once it sends the emails to a set of users, then it will send the email to the rest who are left. So let's try to, okay, there is subject. So we also have the subject line, subject. So all these are dynamic variables. So the moment we update the topic, the content will change. Even the subject will change. So the moment I have, okay, so the email has been sent to the users. So let me just check the the email that I have received. Okay, so we got results. Okay, but it has not yet fetched the information. Introduction, object, object, object. Okay, so there's a small mistake that I have made. So here I basically need to get the title first, and then in front of title I need a description and so on. So we got the result in the format that we are looking forward to. Now, the problem with this is that the aesthetics that we get is not that great when we are all only sending via the email. So I'm just trying this out whether it is working out again and again or not. So if we check, so we might have received the mail again, and in this specific time, uh, we might have received the okay. So we got a heading and a supporting. pointer. Now the point is that we need our newsletter to be very aesthetic and yet very personalized. So what we will be doing, we will be creating an HTML template such that it is being sent to the user and they are able to read that out, and even we can redirect them to our website in case we have any website. So till I'll explain this further in the session only. In case you guys have any doubts to whatsoever we have done, just let me know. Mm, I'm waiting. Okay, so if you refer to the Google Sheet, the doc that I have shared, so there I have shared a template which has been generated using Claude. So Claude creates one of the best, I would say, the best HTML content. So we'll be using this only in order to for this specific project. So let's try to change this with this, and we need to substitute the file, all the all this via this is link. So we need an heading which we can get from here, like heading. I got the point. It means where we got all the necessary subpointers which is to be mentioned. So there was a red error because it was being named here as edit fields, and I changed it to set not previously. For that reason, it was being showing as red. So using this specific template, we can basically get the uh, output in the best possible. So I have created this using Claude. So if you are working on a specific project or a newsletter, then in that case scenario, you guys can ask a a picture from uh, Gemini, like, hey, I'm working on a newsletter. Can you give me an image for the same? Then Gemini will give you an image. Now you need to upload that on Claude and ask for a HTML, and it will give you in most of the cases the way I have created at the moment. Okay. So in case you have any doubts, just let me know. I'll take that up. Oh, okay. No doubts. Okay, so this was the template that we have used, and I have also shared this with you all in this specific document as well. So now let's try to execute this as well. In case any of you would like to try this out and give me your email IDs, feel free to drop it in the chat box. Okay, I can see someone typing, so I'll be waiting for some time. Okay, I guess I can move forward. Now just let me show you the current email that I have received by using this specific. Okay, I haven't executed it yet. I'm seeing one more time in case. Okay, no, please. It's not a concern. Now, the moment I've clicked on execute step, this has been executed and I might have received an email. Okay, we got the data set. We got the email. Okay, so I need to change it to HTML actually. Okay, now I should have ideally got the, yep. So I got a heading over here, a subheading, and the relevant topics and a full report. So maybe in case we have any new a website where we have all these blogs, we can attach that link as well. So we can use this in order to create all this. Now the next step that we'll try to do is to once it is done, then it will update that the newsletter for this specific topic has been sent. So we'll be again attaching sheet, and the operation would be to append or update row, and it will be sheet one only of this newsletter automation. Okay, now the topic is okay, and yes, cross topic. Okay, topic. See. Okay, so we have a specific topic. It should ideally, I guess, there's been some changes in the nomenclature. For that reason, we are facing this specific issue at the moment. serial number. And we'll get the topic. Status to be this against. Okay, now it has been executed. Firstly, okay, cool. Now this way we can basically create an automation for newsletter. So we have created the entire uh, workflow or along with an AI agent which drafts the content for us and then it shoots the email to the users. So in case you guys have any doubts, just let me know. Using on has been fixed. Okay. Okay. Aspects that I wanted to cover. So I was thinking to make a front end, something similar to this that have shown. So how you can do that? So I'll be giving you this specific prompt, which I forgot to add in the sheet for that time being. So you guys can use this specific. Okay, so it is there in this file only. So you need to use this as specific prompt, and you can also use this specific picture in order to the create the front end with the best aesthetics. So let me add this as well over here. So you guys can just attach this image to, so you guys need to attach this specific image to Lovable and give it a prompt. So I'll try to create this again from the very scratch so that you guys can follow along. So we'll be attaching this specific image and the prompt. copy this and paste it in Lovable. Copy image, paste the image. Okay, we got the image finally. And once it is done, click on it. It will take some time. And meanwhile, I'll explain more about the webhook trigger. So this time everything was triggered according to the schedule. Now, in our case, we will add a webhook trigger. A webhook trigger will get the information. It will connect the front end that we have over Lovable with our backend, which is Anytime. So firstly, we need to go to, let's add a webhook trigger from there. Firstly, we'll use a test URL so that we can set this for the automation. And once it is done, we will get the production URL. You need to just click on add webhook and then click on HTTP request to post. You can, for the timing, you can ignore the authentication and response as immediately because we are triggering, we want the output over mail only for the time being. So let's get this specific link and wait for Lovable to make this entire front end. Meanwhile, in case you guys have any doubts or you guys wanted to ask anything, just let me know. I'll definitely help you out. Okay, so we got the result from Lovable. Okay, choose Lovable. Okay, so we got the front end. Now what I'll be doing, I'll be copying this URL and giving it to Lovable and say send the data to the this webhook. It will make some changes and the moment we give it any topic, then it will send that specific topic to our Anytime. So let's just wait for some time. And then once we set it up, we'll be able to easily do the rest of the automations because we have already made the rest of the topics. So it has done the job. Click on the listen for test event. It is taking some time. Okay, now let's give it any topic like AI agents. Click on generate. And let's try to fix. But we got the body over here. Like this is the topic that we were looking forward to. And we got this over here. Since it has now been triggered, we'll be just attaching to this specific AI agent node. So we got this. Let's, okay. JSON as topic. We need to just get the topic from here. It's the topic. Now let's get the production URL and just replace it with the production URL. Send the data to this webhook. Okay, now this has been updated. Now, if in case I need newsletter on any topic, let's say quantum computer, this flow will be automatically triggered. This one. And here we go. We got the newsletter on the topic that we had mentioned. So I hope this much is pretty clear to you all. In case you guys have any doubts, just let me know. I'll definitely help you out in case you are stuck at any point. Okay, so that's it for the session. In case, thank you for joining the session. I'll be waiting for 2 more minutes. In case you guys have any doubts, you can turn on your mic and speak up.